we're gonna have something different. அதாவது வந்து கொஞ்சம் ஒரு புதுமையாக போகிறோம். ஸோ அடுத்ததாக வந்து ஒரு சின்ன ஸ்பீச், a little பேச்சு from our one and only Abhinay Sivakumar about motivation. Can you please welcome on stage Abhinay Sivakumar? And I have to let you guys know something. Abhinay's grandma passed away last week. So we would like a moment of silence just for a minute to honor the passing of Abhinay's grandma. Thank you, everyone. And Abhinay, thank you for coming after all that happened last week to give us a few words and to definitely share words of wisdom with the audience. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Okay. Welcome to Nali Namadi, my friends. Now, I hadn't actually planned on doing this at the start of this year, but somehow I'm up here. So let me tell you how this sort of came about. It was a Monday evening, it was a beautiful day, and then I got a call from Sir Ruben Uncle. We exchanged pleasantries, and then he started off with, "Hi, Abhi, I came across your content." Immediately, my mind started coming up with excuses. I knew he did events, right? So if he's reaching out to me about my content, then I assume he wants me to perform at an event. So him, being a smart man, told me something that every kid in us wants to hear. Abhi, I came across your content and I see something in you. Damn, he had me. I told him I'd take a day to think about it and I give him a call back. So I called my brother, my sister, tell them both the news. And then I get the exact same response from the both of them. Are you dumb? It's a no-brainer. Go do it. Roger that. I gave him a call, confirmed my presence, and here we are. Why are we all here? Nale Namade. Is it even possible to better describe our lives? The future is ours. As kids, the majority of our childhood is planned out in advance by our parents. We go from elementary school straight to middle school to high school to uni, and then from uni, you need to get a job to pay off that debt, and then you need to have a family, and life just goes on. I think due to this, a lot of us end up living unfulfilling lives. At my current job, I regularly see 40 and 50-year-olds that went through the same path as me, that come into the office every single day, sit at the same cubicle with the same grim expression on their face. Now, if you're anything like me, this scares the shit out of me. I definitely knew that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life like this, but I also didn't know what I wanted to do. In 2020, as soon as the pandemic hit, it completely changed my life. I was forced to spend time alone. Now, there was two things that I could have done. One, I could have either gone back to how I spent time alone in the past, where I spent all that time watching TV shows, movies, content, just doing pointless things. Or I could take the time to figure out what to do with my life. Over the past 3 years, I have gotten much closer to figuring out what it is I'm on this earth for. Thanks to 3 habits that I picked up. Now, these 3 habits won't solve all your problems. However, they will get you much closer to being the best version of yourselves. If I could go back in time and tell 13-year-old Abhi about 3 things, these are the 3 things I would tell him. Number 1, meditation. Now, my brother, he had been doing this for a couple of years at this point, right? And I always thought to myself, I was like, why is this guy wasting his time doing nothing? Right? Time is money. Why would you actually do this with your life? Now, when I started looking into it, I noticed that a lot of high-performing individuals actually meditated. So I was curious. So I reached out to him, gave me a few tips, and I went ahead and got him started. Let me tell you, it is something very, very difficult to do. It took me 6 months of continuous meditation to even be able to do 5 minutes solidly. Meditation is literally the act of clearing your mind. As a kid, when I used to spend time alone, I actually spent that time distracting myself with content, right? I didn't actually spend any time alone with myself. I just thought about, okay, what car is Ronaldo driving? Who is Kim Kardashian dating? I never actually sat down and listened to myself. Now, when I started meditating, it took me to a zone in which I could actually clear all of my thoughts and focus in on one single thought. Now, doing this actually allows us to ask questions to ourselves and find the answers from within. When you want to find out about your purpose, it's not something that you get from outside sources. It's something that you have within. You just need to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen. Habit number 2, exercise. In particular, the gym. Now, how I approach this is I get it done in the first thing of every single morning, okay? Think of it this way. You wake up in the morning, you're cold, you're tired, you're sore, okay? And you're about to wake up and go to a job that you don't really like. In this mental state, imagine you get dressed and you go to the gym, you pick up heavy stuff and you throw it around. At this point, is there anything else that you will encounter in your day that will be more physically and mentally taxing on your body, right? You may say, okay, mentally, I need to study, okay? That could be more mentally taxing, sure. You may say you have a job in which you do hard labor, sure, that could be more physically taxing. But when you have a combination of both, there's nothing that is more difficult that you would encounter in your day. Let's say, for example, you do this, right? You get into this mental state, and then you actually go ahead and finish that workout. You feel invincible. There's nothing else that will come into your day that will actually affect you. There's nothing that you cannot take care of. Now, the other thing about exercise is that when you start to get into shape, you look better. If you look better, you feel better. If you feel better, you do better. The last and final thing that I would recommend for all of you guys to do is to read. Now, by reading, I mean, self-help books, autobiographies, nonfiction, right? The day you get old is the day you stop learning. Think about the fact that the autobiographies of some of the most successful people in the world have been documented in one book. In a mere 300 pages, you have all of the lessons and all of the mistakes that they've done that some of the greatest people in the world have encountered during their lives. It only makes sense that the answers to life are in books. The more you read, the more knowledge you get, and knowledge is equivalent to power. I believe that in all of us, like Sir Ruben Uncle said, there is this potential. Now, you may not know what that potential is in yet. In fact, I don't even fully know what that potential is in yet. But what I do know is I'm getting closer. How do I know this? Because I try new things. 3 years ago, I was learning about Stoicism, spirituality, philosophy. I was basically a philosopher. 2 years ago, I was working on a medical tech startup that was actually very close to getting funding. This year, apparently I'm a motivational speaker. Who knows what I'll be next year? But what I do know is I will be closer to finding out as I have tried new things. We all have this potential that is untapped. You're all good at something. You may think you're less intelligent at something or you're less talented than someone. However, there is something that you are good at. Albert Einstein once said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking it's stupid. If you don't think you're good at anything, the reason for this is because you haven't tried enough. You need to be willing to try new things, get out of your comfort zone, and fail. Failure is another stepping stone to success. Now, when I decided to do this speech, right, this motivational talk or speech, whatever you guys want to call it, it is my first one. Now, I knew that there was a good chance that I could fail. But you know what I also knew? Is that this is the worst it'll ever be. Because by trying and by failing, I will get better. So start failing and trying everything you can, and a great life will start to fall into place. Let me end off with this quote I definitely stole from someone and made my own. It's very simple, but it always hits home. You only have one life, but if you put in the work, that one life is more than enough. Thank you. Nale namade.